I always thought the moment your life falls apart would be loud. It would be a slammed door, a scream in the night, the shattering of glass. I never imagined it could be the soft, almost polite chime of a notification on my husband's laptop, left open on the kitchen table while he ran out to grab more milk. A single, innocent sound that would detonate like a silent bomb in the center of my chest, leaving everything in ruins. My name is Maya. 3 weeks ago, my life was a quiet suburban home on a tree-lined street. It was the smell of coffee brewing at 6:45 a.m., the sound of Ryan's keys jangling as he kissed my forehead, the comfortable silence of a marriage that had settled into its 10th year like a well-worn sweater. We were planning a trip to Maine for our anniversary. We were talking about maybe, finally, starting to try for a baby. The cracks, if they were there, were so fine I had trained my eyes not to see them. The way Head started taking his phone into the bathroom for his showers, the new, vague client dinners that ran later than usual, the emotional distance ID chalked up to work stress, the tiredness ID attributed to his long commute. I told myself this was just what marriage became. A partnership, a quiet coexistence. I mistook the stillness for peace, not for the calm before the storm. That Tuesday afternoon, the house was steeped in that particular golden hour gloom, the kind that makes everything feel both beautiful and melancholic. I was clearing our lunch plates when the chime echoed from his MacBook. A blue Facebook Messenger bubble popped up on the screen, which had gone to sleep but not locked. The preview text was short, devastatingly clear. "Can't wait for tonight, Daddy. Miss you already." The sender's name was one I didn't recognize. Kelsey. My blood didn't run cold. It evaporated. My body went numb, then hot, then numb again. Daddy. The word hung in the air. Monstrous. Absurd. It had to be a mistake. A sick joke. A wrong number. But the laptop was logged into his personal account. This was his life, pinging cheerfully into our kitchen. Have you ever had a moment where your entire reality just fractures? Where you're looking at the pieces of what you believed was your life, and they no longer fit together? I stood there, my hand frozen on the back of the chair, the world narrowing to that glowing line of text. I didn't breathe. I think I forgot how. The mundane details around me became hyper-real. The hum of the refrigerator, a single crumb on the polished table, the distant bark of a neighbor's dog. All of it was now part of the crime scene. I didn't touch it. I just stared. When I heard his car pull into the driveway 20 minutes later, the sound was alien, a threat. He came in, holding the carton of milk, his smile easy. "Traffic was a nightmare," he said, dropping his keys in the bowl. He didn't notice my silence, my statue stillness. He headed for the laptop. "Just need to send a quick email to the office," he mumbled, tapping a key. The screen blazed to life, that message still sitting there, a neon sign broadcasting his betrayal. I watched his face. I saw the exact millisecond his brain processed what was on the screen. The color drained from his cheeks, leaving a waxy, gray pallor. His eyes flicked to me, then back to the screen, then to me again. The easy smile was gone, replaced by a rictus of pure, unadulterated panic. "Maya," he began, his voice a strained whisper. "That's not what it looks like." "What does it look like, Ryan?" My own voice was terrifyingly calm, a flat lake over a drowning depth. "It looks like a woman calling you Daddy. It looks like you're seeing her tonight. So please, enlighten me. What is it, if not what it looks like?" He didn't answer. He just closed the laptop with a soft, definitive click. That click was the sound of our marriage ending. The confrontation that followed wasn't a shouting match. It was a clinical, horrifying excavation. He confessed in choked, broken sentences. Her name was Kelsey. She was 28. It had been going on for 2 years. And then, the second detonation, the one that made the first feel like a firecracker. "There's There's a child, Maya. A little boy. Leo. He's 18 months old. The room tilted. I gripped the counter. A child. A family. He had another family. The client dinners. The weekend fishing trips. The unexplained charges on our credit card ID. Worried were for gambling. They were for diapers. For a crib. For a life parallel to mine. He was a father. To someone else's son. The betrayal of infidelity was a knife to the heart. This was the knife twisting, shattering the bone. He had a son. He'd held a newborn, celebrated first birthdays, while I was here, in this house, dreaming of a family with him. I was suddenly an outsider in my own life, a redundant character in a story that had spun off into a sequel I knew nothing about. In the days that followed, a bizarre, numb practicality set in. We spoke in hushed tones. Lawyers' names were exchanged. The word separation was uttered. He moved to a hotel, then to a short-term rental. He cried, he apologized. He said it was a mistake that spiraled, that he loved me, that he was trapped. For one weak, grief-stricken moment, I almost believed him. I almost saw a path, however narrow and thorny, where we went to therapy, where we fought for us. It was a false hope, a reflex of a heart that didn't know how to stop beating for the man it loved. But then I would remember the word daddy. I would picture a toddler with Ryan's eyes, and the fragile bridge of that hope would collapse into ash. The climax didn't come in a dramatic fight. It came in the sterile, bright hallway of a coffee shop a week after Head left. Head asked to meet, to talk. I agreed, thinking I needed closure. He sat across from me, a ghost of the man I married, and then he said it, the words that formed the final, unbridgeable chasm. I have to be in his life, Maya. He's my son. I want to do right by him. I need to figure out how to co-parent with Kelsey. I know it's asking the impossible, but if there's any chance for us, you'd have to accept that he exists. That they exist. I looked at him, really looked. I saw the father he was trying to be for Leo. I saw the husband he had failed to be for me. And in that moment, I felt a profound, chilling clarity. This wasn't just an affair to forgive. This was a fundamental reconfiguration of his entire existence, and, by extension, mine. To stay would mean forever sharing my husband's time, his money, his heart, his future, with another woman and the child they created. It would mean a lifetime of second place, of being a stepmother to a living, breathing symbol of his betrayal. The love I felt for him, tangled and wounded as it was, curdled into something else. A deep, weary pity and a fierce, protective love for myself. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I simply set my untouched coffee down. Ryan, I said, my voice steady in a way that surprised even me. There is no us to have a chance. You made that choice 2 years ago. You built another life. You go live it. I stood up, the chair scraping softly on the tile. He reached for my hand, but I pulled away. The touch that had once been my home now felt like a contamination. Goodbye, Ryan. I walked out into the bland afternoon light. I didn't look back. The grief was a physical weight. A boulder on my lungs, but beneath it, for the first time in weeks, was a trickle of air. It was over. The lies were over. The waiting was over. I got into my car and sat there for a long time, watching ordinary people live their ordinary lives. I was no longer one of them. My map had been burned. I had no idea what my future looked like, only that it was a road I would now walk alone, carrying the wreckage of a love that turned out to be a beautiful, convincing forgery. Thank you so much for listening to my story. It's the hardest thing I've ever had to put into words, but there's a strange comfort in sharing it. If you've ever faced a betrayal that redefined your world, or if you're in the quiet before the storm right now, please know you're not alone. Share your thoughts, your own stories, or just a word of support in the comments below. This community is here for you. If this resonated with you, please give this video a like and subscribe for more real, raw stories about love, survival, and the messy truth of being human.